Hello and welcome to today's daily live English lesson. This is the Q&A session. I can see it as well, so the video is up and ready to be watched. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you're doing well. And in this second class of daily live English lesson, we are going to take questions and answers from you. That's what it is. So come and join me with your English questions. Hello, Arena F. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining. So, that's exactly what we're going to do. You ask questions, English questions, and I am going to answer. Okay, yes and yeah. By the way, if you are in Malta, you would have enjoyed a little bit of rain, a little bit of a thunderstorm this week, and it's back to being sunny, because that's what Malta is. Usually a sunny place. I hope everyone is doing well, and I hope everyone had a good bank holiday. Well, a public holiday in Malta. In the UK, we call it a bank holiday. In Malta, you would call it a public holiday. And in the United States, I think it's a public holiday. I need to check. I don't know. But basically, a bank holiday or a public holiday is a holiday. No work. It's a free day. Like a weekend. Malta has quite a few public holidays. Actually, a lot. Manuel, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lessons. I hope you're doing well. Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. So come in with your questions and I will answer. We're looking at English questions you might have. I got asked a good question actually yesterday, which was, what is the difference between if I was and if I were? So if I was or if I were. What's the difference? Some of you might have thought of this question. What's the difference? Let me know if you've thought of this question before. What's the difference if I was or if I were? Let me know in the live chat if you have thought of this question before. It's a good question. The reality is that can you use if I were? Sure, yes. Can we use if I was? The answer is also yes. Both can be used, but the one that is better, because it's the one you are going to have to use most of the time, is if I were. If I were is formal. If I was is informal. So can you say if I were you, if she were you, if he were you, if we were them? The answer is yes, we can use were. Now, we can't do this normally because normally we can't. We can't say she were. No, it has to be she was. And we can't say you was. We have to say you were. But when it comes to the if clause, the conditional clause, you can say, instead of saying if I was, you can say if I were. If I was the president, if I were the president. So both are correct. But like I said, if I were is the formal one. If she was, if she were. So I would encourage you guys to use if I were, the were one. To be honest, it is formal. It is the one that you will have to use more often, probably. That's my advice, but that's the main difference, really. But yeah, go with if I were. But if you have other questions, feel free to come in. I've got a list of questions as well, where over the years, actually, where students have asked some good questions, for example. But let me know in the live chat if you have any English language questions. And yeah, I will do my best to answer them on the spot. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And please make sure you like and share the videos as well. There was a new video up this week to do with good afternoon, Arena A. Good afternoon. There was a new video up this week. It was a language teacher language tip video that went up on Monday. Hello, Evelina. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Hope you're doing well. So yeah, come in with your questions. And don't forget, join me tomorrow at 5 for our very last daily live English lesson as well. So yeah, the important thing is with all these videos. Now we have made a lot of videos over the past, I don't know, nearly 2 years. Yeah, nearly 2 years. So there's a lot of very good material there that we can look at that can be used. But yes, come in with your English language questions. Like I said, if I was, that's going to be a difference between formal and informal. But I really encourage people to use if I were. So yes, and if you want to ask a hypothetical question, please do. I think one of the best hypothetical questions I was asked was if I saw an alien, if an alien knocked on your door, what would you do? Now, in the UK, the most popular answer was I would offer the alien a cup of tea. In the United States, the most popular answer to the question would be I would get my gun. So no surprise there between the difference between what English people would do and what Americans would do if someone knocked on the door. Now, it's important to know that when English people use the word Americans, we are not talking about people from South America. We are not talking about Mexicans. We are not talking about Canadians. We are talking specifically about people from the United States. Irina A says, I'm confused in form I had. Can you give some examples for me, please? If I had. Wow, I had had. So I had an experience of this nature before. Okay, simply put, I did have an experience like this before. Closest thing I would say would be I once had an experience like this. Okay, this is what we mean. If we say I had, what we're really saying is I once had an experience. I had. We can do this. It's strange, but you're really saying, if you say I had an experience of this nature, I had. It's a bit strange in the sense you might as well say I once had, or I did once have. You could say I did once have an experience like this. I did once have an experience like this. So that's what we really mean by if we try to use Had. Let's see if I can find some other examples. Let's see, because you can use it in English, but it's not very often that you get the opportunity to use it. So let's see if I can find some more examples. Yes, this could be a good example. So don't forget, guys, that had would be the second had is a past participle. So it's a past perfect. And you're using had plus the past participle of have, which is had as well. So you can say, for instance, let's go with she felt wonderful. So she felt wonderful after she had had a good night's sleep. Notice here, the pattern of the past perfect is the same. We need a past simple plus a past perfect, or a past perfect plus a past simple, because we need to finish. We need to talk about two finished actions. Okay, that's why we can do this. We still need to have two finished actions in the past. So we can go with a past simple plus a past perfect, or we can go with a past perfect plus a past simple. And we end up with had. So she felt wonderful after she had had a good night's sleep. He felt great after he had won the race. He had felt great after he had won the race, or after he had a good game, for example. Let's go back. He felt good. He felt great after he had a good game. Okay. Let's see if you guys can put together your own had. So let's go with this. Okay, let's see if any of you can solve this problem. Okay, you've got she had felt had great dinner, lovely after she. So this is going to be put into a past perfect. You need to decide what parts of the sentence should be used with the past simple and what parts should be with the past perfect. I should tell you, first part, make a past simple to make this work, followed by a past perfect. That will be the best way. Okay. Now you do need to use the had bit. So make sure had are next to each other, and that's going to be the past perfect. So that has to come second. Let's see how many of you can do this. Had. I think there's a song with had. Oh, yes, no, that's going to be complicated because you can use this in a conditional, such as if only I had enough money at the time. But yeah, that's going to be really complicated. So let's not go into the conditionals. with this one. You can use it in a conditional, but that's a difficult one. And it's not often used. Very, very regularly is it even used. It's most likely to be used by, I don't know, someone in their 80s who has a lot of regret, for example. So it's unlikely that any of you will need to use that type of language. But this type of language here is possible, and you might need to use it sometimes. Irina says she felt lovely after she had a great dinner. Yep, that works. You could even swap it around, saying she felt great after she had a lovely dinner. That would also work. So there's two possible correct answers there, but yeah, Irina A, that works well. Well done. I think you should be pleased with that. Sorry. Can't let the laptop die. Yeah, that's good. Irina A, that works well. That looks good. Well done. Feel free if anyone else would like to come in with their own questions or their own example of that sentence. Maybe you want to create your own one. We've only got 5 minutes left, so get in here with your questions. Even if you would like to ask if something translates into English. I know idioms can be a bit of a problem sometimes. You might want to ask, by the way, does this translate into English? Can I say this in English? And I will tell you yes or no as a simple answer. Yes, I haven't drunk enough water either today. Again, I never drink enough water during the day. It is a problem. Let's see, maybe have some other questions. Don't forget, by the way, if you are currently in Malta and you are thinking of going to Malta, make sure you get your vaccine certificate. It makes things so much easier. You can then go to school physically, which makes a big difference. And on top of that, you can also, it's easier to travel. It's just so much easier to do so many things once you have your vaccine certificate. Now, most of our students now are probably, I don't know if most of our students have the vaccine certificate. I know a lot of our students have vaccine certificates. I like water in the UK. In the UK, don't forget the UK. Not every country. Some countries will have the, and usually if it's like abbreviations like the USA, the UAE, for example, or continents like the EU. So if it's shortened, it's always going to have the. But even if then you have the whole thing, it's still going to be the United Kingdom, the United States of America, the United Arab Emirates, for example, or the European Union, for example. So don't forget the. Okay, guys. So look, that's going to come to the end of today's session. Today has to be short because there's now an IELTS clinic. And if you're wondering about IELTS, IELTS is the way forward if you want to learn English quickly, you want an international certificate, and it's the quickest way to learn good English. And we've got a great IELTS course at AM Language. IELTS Clinic is something that is offered. It's a complimentary thing, in fact. So it's not something students pay for. But if you are on an IELTS course at AM Language, there's something called an IELTS Clinic that you can come along to. And it's something just to help you guys. If you are on the IELTS course, it's something that it's an extra service that we offer to help you guys with your progress, with your IELTS progression. And it's really important as well. So that's a special thing that we have with the IELTS course. If you want to know more about IELTS, though, definitely ask when you go. Just ask us, especially if you can go to school. Definitely ask the tuition team about IELTS. It's a great course, and I do recommend it. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Now, I will be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock for our very last daily live lesson. So make sure you join me for that at 5 o'clock. Thank you so much, everybody. See you tomorrow. A big thank you to Evelina and Irina A, as well as Manuel and Irina F. Make sure you like the video and see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye for now.